Drama. Coming out of, good morning. It's drama coming out of, hold on, I gotta switch. I'm gonna switch 1 with 7 so that you can get him. And then I've actually been looking at, one of the things I'll probably go back to is talking with Michael Popak from Midas Touch, is talking about Eileen Cannon and his experience with, youthful judges. And then Tony is talking.
That was fucking on TV. And really, honestly, that's
how
what this is all about for some of these attorneys. Is they want to become
Trump's attorneys,
news stars or whatever.
Right. And unfortunately, I don't see Trump's attorneys. Unfortunately, are the epitome of why so few people stay attorneys.
Can't trust him. Apparently,
it's kind of funny because out of the graduating class, my best friend, same year. This is in the late 80s. Out of that graduating class, only 1%, 1%, 1 in 100 are still attorneys.
This guy's supposed to be fucking rich.
So it tells you what the turnover rate is like in the legal firms and in the legal industry, because so many people go into it for the wrong reason. You're either very...
They're not like, hey, hand over your mortgage to me, friend.
Oh, God. It's not like medicine. You go into medicine because you have a need or a want to help people. You have a need or a want, and you have an ability to help people. It's ingrained in you. It's not something you have to do. It's not something you have to try and push hard. It comes to you quite easily. You don't have to worry about it.
Around rich people, run around chasing ambulances, right? Like trust.
But being an attorney is like either you want to be rich, or you do have this thought that you want to be the person who fixes it all. And you realize after a really quick point, you're never going to be that. And as far as making money, unless you're in the top tier in one of the coastal places, and maybe in Texas where you can do a lot of oil work, and somewhat in Oklahoma where you can do a lot of oil work, for the most part, you're going to be about $1 million attorney at the best. Meaning you're going to have an okay life, but not great, not fucking fantastic.
Good living. Made off of
not $250,000 a year
fucking rich people.
Just in partnership agreements.
Fucking living.
Yeah, just in partnership, much less what you're going to make as part of your pay for being in the part. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're probably some of the
it's ridiculous
fucking attorneys. Now,
and it's so ridiculous that when you catch attorneys like Alvinati who steal
about capitalism sometimes, right?
From their
the shittiest part about
people, it's because they're the ones who should never have been attorneys. They went into it for the wrong reason. Dude, you don't go into it because you want to do racing and you want to have that life. No. No. Because I tell you, the attorneys that have that life are some miserable motherfuckers. Oh, they are some miserable motherfuckers. I would not want to work for them again.
But this guy...
Now, I've worked in law firms. I've worked in financial firms.
He doesn't anymore.
I've worked in banks.
He doesn't anymore.
I've worked in industry. I've worked in all of these places.
But some of the best...
And it's
our public defenders.
It's a weird world.
Lawyers, they go and they work for corporations.
It's just a weird world.
And corporations pay them pretty decent money.
Because attorneys,
protected from the almighty.
How do you?
And then you got the skeezy ones, right?
Because I'm trying to think if the finance guys are pretty miserable, but they're miserable people who are competitive. The legal people were just miserable.
You're pretty smart.
Most of the legal people I worked for, that's why when Mofo came to me about doing their
following around rich people.
Mofo and one other company came to me about actually being their
Trustee is one of those, and I believe
their NAS guy. All they just needed somebody to take care of all their NASs.
TV star.
Now, by NASs, I mean they have
Fucking idiots.
a bunch of old Winchester drives. They have some EMCs. They have some new 3-pars. They just have everything.
The guy who defended and
they need somebody that just takes care of that. That's just data. So your job is to take care of the most important part of the company, the data.
Anyways, these attorneys want to be TV stars, and that's what Trump promised. He's like, look,
and both of them, I said,
but you're gonna do it
as long as I only have to be in the office no more than 2 days a week, I'll do it.
No one's gonna take you seriously from here on out. But boy, you're gonna be on the TV a lot.
And they were like, why? Because I actually want to keep the job. And anybody who has to be in there more than that is probably not going to keep the job. Well, they didn't believe me.
Talked about the non-lawyer.
That was a few years ago.
Tom,
and that job has popped up almost every freaking 6 months since then.
He does. He wears, that's his little sister's shirt that he puts on.
Not just at Mofo, but it's at a couple of the other companies. And it's just like, no, you're not getting it.
Tom's not even a lawyer.
You don't need me to be in the office. You need me to take care of your data. And if you bring people into the office, they're not going to want to work for you.
Trump's here.
Especially since all they've got to do is take care of the data. Let them take care of the data and be in the office as little as possible, and you'll keep your people.
37 counts.
It's one of these things. In the finance business, it's nowhere near as bad. I actually would have no problem being in the office every day in finance. They're just competitive dirt bags. But legal offices, they're pretty miserable SOBs when you get to that point. Like I said, you're talking to the 1% of 1% who have made it in that business. And that's a cutthroat fucking business. And I cannot wait to see what happens as we get closer and closer. Because legal world is going to become very, very important. It's going to be something that we look at more and more because Trump's going to point it out.
He ain't gonna win. It's like when he tried to.
And our 24-hour media cycle. Let me see if do I have our 24-hour media? No, let me switch. 3 to
quick.
There we go, and I'm going to move you to here and see what the media is talking about today.
Gives you a good
slams DOJ in social media posts.
Matter if Trump can't get an attorney.
So his failing Truth Social, which may soon be out of business because the SEC is really fucking raking them over the coals. It looks like Devin Nunes may have stumbled his way into some of the stupidest shit he could have ever done. By getting involved in Truth Social.
Where he was trying to.
Because, yeah.
That's not going to happen.
A SPAC.
That one's not.
You know, when I originally heard of SPACs, I was like,
get the fuck out of here. You dismissed this.
That's a dumb idea. It's a really dumb idea.
Counts, they got material evidence.
And unfortunately, I'm going to have to be part of that dumb idea at one point or another, aren't I? Because
some bullshit that Rudy Giuliani made up some
company I'm going to work for is going to be all over this shit.
There's a FBI.
They're going to be all over this shit.
2 of them are Joe Biden talking to Burisma.
And soon as I went right back into the light world of
motherfuckers.
I shouldn't call it light world. It's a heavy world of startups again.
You're gonna hear the
boom! It happened.
Especially if he goes
there we are. You're in a startup and a SPAC. One of the things we were trying to get into was an automotive SPAC.
Some of the shit that he was showing people.
And the funny part is we came really close. We were so close.
That's going to be some of the most.
The unfortunate part is, I would still.
I believe that Trump and his
be out of a job
try to force
because that particular SPAC, yeah, it fell apart.
They're going to want to say, well, what's so?
As did 3 other SPACs that we were actually in for literally doing battery work and doing EV work, just all these different SPACs that were just for EV work.
Down Friday, June 16th.
And a lot of what
PM Tony Michael
fouled them was the fact that so many of them counted on
chaos.
The government actually putting that $7,500 across every single thing, including conversions.
Just mark it down.
And it didn't.
Fucking arguments.
The government didn't do any of the, and so a lot of those SPACs and things like that for that poofed.
Now a lot of people
But unfortunately, and some of them just were just
over the
wrong. They were built wrong. They were put together wrong. They should never have been put together in the way that they were. And that's one of the ones we were looking at too. Unfortunately, my company just it's still there. It just is not funded right now.
So,
oh, how hilarious. But one of the things I just wanted to talk about today is that it's going to become cutthroat as we fall into Juneteenth and the weekend of fun.
I know you guys know.
I may go and do a show tomorrow during some of Hal's show, during his 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock show. Fair. Why am I getting a fair going to you guys at...
what you should do, I mean, if we're really thinking...
Let me know if you're having any issues on YouTube, because I'm just getting a fair to you guys. I don't know why. Today is one of those days where we're getting strange stuff coming all over the place. Like one of my screens wants to always be in the wrong spot. Anyway, but yeah, just look for law firms and
just give him half the, that way he can smell it.
And a lot of you know, what's going to drive me nuts now is all this crap that they're trying to do with Joe. See, because this is the thing. Joe Biden literally came into public life as one of the youngest guys ever and lost his family publicly as he's going into public life. When you're incarcerated. You Republicans have got to be pretty desperate
I believe though
to be doing what you're doing, because you just when somebody's been in public life that long, you're either going to catch them really easily because they're going to be as hubristic as Trump after a point. I mean, look at every fucking GOP person who lives through at least 20 years of public life without having something happen.
Because I think in Georgia, someone said that the other day too. Because
take a look at what Texas is going through.
Saying that they'll adjourn those cases.
Their attorney general. How many years? Years.
And
see, if you don't understand the CRT of the system, no, it's not something you teach. It's just an ingrained piece of shit that is actually really in the system. Take a look at the Attorney General of Texas and understand how delay actually equals lack of. How taking 3 years to figure out something we can see on video in 5 minutes is
which I guess we'll find out.
The injustice is the system that keeps the same system running, that allows for an asswipe like Trump of no importance, of no brilliance, of no sanity, to keep shit like stealing government documents, endangering sources and methods over and over again, stealing and closing company after company. See, that's how he made his millions. When you build a building and you don't pay, 90% of the masons that build that building? Well, what did you just do? You took all of their companies and ripped them away. Because in order to get paid, they have to sue you.
Those fucking people are in trouble.
You who's big enough to wait it out, because now you have the income from that business that they just built.
And I think the name Rudy Giuliani.
If you don't get it, that's how he started out. His daddy started that.
For sure.
And then started making up little companies to bilk the government
They're going to pop their heads up. I mean, we watched as Rusty Bowers, the former
by replacing equipment in his
Republican,
own places at inflated prices so that he could take the tax. Yeah.
trying to get
His daddy started that bullshit. Understand that. Long ago. Because I remember going in, like I said, this is a story I tell over and over again.
even when Rusty Bowers.
And in the 1970s, sitting in the living room of my grandfather's house,
Rusty Bowers was on board. And then
they had two houses sitting right next to each other.
show me the list.
One next door was rented out, and that one. We went there every summer. And it was hard felt because my grandfather went through a lot to build up his construction company.
And you don't think Rudy was selling?
And I will never forget the one thing he said he will never work for again is another man named Trump or anything to do with him,
that half
because you will get ripped off by him.
where he never talked to Burisma?
That stuck with me.
Dead now. Okay. All right. You people,
This guy in Belmar, New Jersey. Understand that. Just a little construction company that worked out of New York and New Jersey. Not huge amounts of work, just small amounts of work, but got a crew and everything going.
we have to try to
Black dude in the 60s.
put up the dam of the, for the.
Hello?
We gotta head 'em.
Know how difficult that was?
They accomplished what they wanted to accomplish.
And this motherfucker ripped him off.
With this recording,
Started way long ago.
it's all
Long ago.
bullshit. And the only thing
So they've been ripping off people for eons.
talking about this shit. That's all you need.
So long that most of New York City knew not to vote for this man, not to even go near him.
They're the ones talking about it.
Remember, almost everybody that was on that escalator ride down was paid.
Their goal with this story was to convince the sheep, the cult, that there is
His little trip in Miami,
more of a criminal than
half the SUVs were paid.
much of a criminal as Joe Biden. That's it. Are you listening to me?
One of the articles that came out today was that his fundraising people were desperate
With the cult,
and are happy that they just made $12 million.
Comer, Jim Jordan, Donald Trump,
Can I tell you a little secret?
Ron Johnson, Rudy Jr.
One of the things that they're not telling you
They all cooked this shit up to get him to.
puts a smile on my face. I mean, it is a little depressing that they made $12 million.
United States Senate the night before.
Yes.
Trump was arraigned on 37 felony counts.
I mean, what? It was 6.6 and 12, so in all 18 million?
Fucking coincidence. They did that on.
18? Yeah.
They did. It did. I mean, I know. There's
Can I tell you a little secret?
that were reposted.
It's a lot less than they expected.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe and somehow.
Well, they were desperate for it.
Did you ever know?
And again, I keep screaming this. Iowa proves my point. This man is no longer going to be it. Oh, for now, he's still got the name recognition. But as the months pass, because we haven't voted yet, ladies and gentlemen, not a single person has put a piece of paper, a ballot, or an electronic machine and gone bing, 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 bing.
Put this shit out in the universe.
Not a one.
Brain dead MAGA shit.
So I don't give a fuck about your polls. Your polls don't make any difference to me because unless it's a group of at least 10,000 people spread at least 100 people per state in a group that you actually spend at least 1 hour with, I don't care.
Remember, this is what Jim Jones would do.
Oh, there are plenty of people doing that kind of polling,
Weird ass shit.
that kind of group polling.
It was time for a new normal with new
And it wasn't too
And they're part of what I'm paying attention to.
terrible. It was.
And they have nothing to do with the polls that you've got Steve Kornacki screaming about in front of the big board.
He's gonna protect. Oh, they're coming after us, but he's the only one standing.
You know-
in the way. That sort of shit, right?
Where you're going to have... Here, hold on. I got to do the big board where you got 48% that are yeah. No.
Stuff that's bad. Oh,
What you're finding more and more is that if you actually talk to these people and you actually sit there and listen to them, More and more of them are getting turned off, not just by Donald being a cult member.
Because the person who said they happened is now dead.
With dynamic charting and
Does this make any fucking sense to you?
What's he saying? Trump says he will end the Ukraine war in less than 24 hours. And does he fucking sound like Nixon? I'm sorry.
The cult leader,
Does he fucking sound like Nixon? Trump now says he will end the war in Ukraine in less than 24 hours. And he will stop Ukraine from bombing Russia, and everyone will be happy.
People peeling off for Ronnie pudding fingers, okay? They don't want a meatball army.
It's one of his videos, folks.
Okay?
This is what he does now.
Oh, I'm so glad it's Friday. I got wasted. I was dancing.
So they made 18 million.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's the problem.
What else do you want? You want me to lie to you? Like, no, I'm sober.
Trump threw away $3 million
I read a book.
to listen
Poetry? No.
to a
Clear beer. I was drinking Bud Light.
person,
Having a good time listening
a white male,
fucking links hurt. I'm getting old.
who has a website
Dance all night.
and looks the part
Friday. I'm glad you're here. We got
of a website dude who would do something called, what is it,
we got some extra ones in there too.
Legal Watch?
With Tommy.
Is that what it's called? I don't even remember. I don't want to promote it or really push it that much, but it's a fake legal website. It's a right-wing rag website
Sitting in the United States Center, and he doesn't know how to.
done by a guy who doesn't even have the ability to
Tommy's a scumbag.
read the law.
Talk about that today in the
majority of
Boneheaded Week.
Americans less than excited
And we're going to talk about this Trump Fenton thing.
Now, what do I mean by that?
We'll get to read.
I mean, if you just read the Presidential Records Act,
But I want you to
just go over there and peruse the act.
can't stop fucking stepping on race.
You will find that nothing
We got to point it out.
the gaslighter in chief says to be true.
To do that, one way to do that is
You will find the Sox case has nothing to do with anything
go watch it every single weekday, Monday through Friday noon.
that they were talking about in there. And the reason
Which
that the case went the way it did was because
don't forget you can
it had nothing to do with personal stuff
also see
that was related to documents
go to the upper
per se. It was
or just type in the
a diary in audio form that has nothing to do with a
lot of new followers,
100 boxes of our
all the new followers, and the
classified and non-classified
have linked their private
and NARA related documents that shouldn't even be anywhere near
get every
you.
single month. You got to renew it every single month.
Anywhere near.
Which, but once you
Crazy.
do, it's really easy. The direction
Crazy stuff.
at
But now hold on. I want to go and take a look really quickly.
.com. You can also check
Let's, sorry, I'm going to swap you.
follow all the other links.
For what,
YouTube on there.
some of what
Follow us on Twitter at Tony Michaels.
is being said here
And also
by
Her route was different.
Michael,
She was
because
an assistant U.S.
Michael
attorney.
is talking about
She
how
is the lead
Eileen,
senior. And even worse, prior to becoming a federal judge, she was not, unlike some of the others on the Southern District bench, she was never a trial judge. A lot of the members of the Florida federal bench, judges, were judges in the state court system in Miami primarily, or Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm Beach before they became federal judges. They were sort of elevated from state court to federal court, not Eileen Cannon, who's 42 years old. Her route was different. She was an assistant U.S. attorney, meaning she was a federal prosecutor, but she never even tried cases there.
see, they're in.
One you've ever boycotted. The 72 category filing system makes it easy to organize boycotted people, places, and things so you can.
There is no perfect right way. But wouldn't it be nice
When you're done,
if we actually had
write up so you can take
this system that we actually used,
a cluttered
in which we said these people have been vetted and gone through this entire. Oh, we do have this process.
just loop it around your neck
But see, for the most part, it gets ignored.
now and we'll double the offer.
And that's the unfortunate part, is when you have somebody who's as corrupt as Donald Trump, what you get is a bunch of people who weren't qualified in any way, shape, or form.
Back into it. This
to get on the bench.
Michael's podcast.
And then when we come along and we fill the bench, we fill it with people who've actually been qualified. See, the problem is the law is really not that difficult if you do it right. But when you actually have a bunch of people who are being ideologues and are trying to create law, that's when you get people like Eileen Cannon.
So take that off the board. She was an appellate lawyer doing appeals. Appeals are the opposite of trial work. In fact, when you're an appellate lawyer, like Eileen Cannon was in the division of the Justice Department that she was in, or the prosecutor's office that she was in, you're taking a cold record developed below by trial lawyers, putting on witnesses, handling evidence, and you're dealing with discrete issues on appeal. So no experience when she was in that we know of, no experience doing sophisticated.
Now, I will give but in some ways I would, and this is just because I've dealt with some attorneys like that, I would sometimes rather have an appeals judge. I know that sounds crazy. Or somebody who's done. I'd rather have a judge who's done appeals work at a defense level or a prosecution level because of the finiteness of the issues. In other words, how do I put this? Okay, Cannon got slapped. Eileen Cannon got slapped. And it wasn't a difficult slap.
But it's 30 minutes and you get to ask me.
Most appeals, when it comes to things like this, are on minute pieces when they win the appeal. They're not on a general, you shouldn't have done that. They're on little somethings that are minute and tend to be interestingly weedy to find in a lot of cases. They're not easy. They're not pop-up. They don't just whoosh. So an appeals person might actually do better for us. And the fact that she's gotten slapped that easily, and like a lot of other people have said, she may not be that bad in some ways. And I'll tell you why. Cut. Weird stuff. Sorry. Just one of those weird mornings that things aren't quite. Everything's not going quite the way I was hoping it would. But it's one of those weird days where it's like something else is happening. And it's just not apparent.
Hey, mods. Can you remind me?
No, you guys are. See, I love this. I love this Chiron. Hold on. Let me pause this. Can I get this Chiron on right quick?
I'm not the greatest when it comes to remembering it.
NBC News. Biden allies frustrated over White House silence on Trump indictments.
Like, hey,
No. News organizations are pissed that unlike Trump, Biden won't scream and yell.
Listen to live music when it was going on. So.
That is the most disingenuous bullshit. It almost comes as close to the guy who had to leave Fox because he put what? Where is it? Just there are so many stories. It's like, oh my God. Here we go. Tucker Carlson's former Fox producer has left network after blowback from calling Joe Biden wannabe dictator in a recent banner caption that literally went and made it to every freaking show I listened to or watched for a day. A day.
Joe Biden was way ahead. That means that they would stay in.
Why is the right wing so fascistly nuts right now?
I don't know.
Why? Why is it they are all over intersex people, a scientific anomaly that is reality? When you start actually confronting these people on science and actual logic, like the fucking car you get into every day starting without blowing your ass up. Like getting on that fucking plane that you trust so well. That's all science. That's all the same shit that says, no, 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 no. Your fucking bullshit on this book ain't science. As a matter of fact, everything we see in this book, we can actually prove is now wrong. See, the time period doesn't work. When the book was written, it would have to have been written 100 years after because language.
To believe that Donald Trump is going to hand it over like
I mean, just so much of your book is bullshit, but that's okay. These people are just all in for the anti-science bullshit
take that copy machine
and won't answer when confronted about why.
Commercial or other litigation, civil rights or criminal litigation.
Let's get back to
while
her
she was
because I
an
just want to
attorney.
make sure
She
we
then was a
understand.
U.S.
I don't
attorney
think she's going to be as big an
in the
issue.
United States. Judges handle both criminal cases and civil cases.
Right.
Both. There's not a criminal court judge
Or
and a
civil
civil
court.
court judge. That's usually in a state court practice.
Right.
State judges are often divided. These are assigned to family law.
Family
these are
and
assigned to
non-family and criminal
cases.
because
These are
family
assigned to
law, there's
civil
actually
cases.
things that you
These are
should be
assigned to
looking
business
at.
disputes.
And there
Not
are
so at
reasons
the
to
federal
have
level.
family
Federal
law
judges
separated
sit.
out from regular
They are
law,
judges of equity. They are judges of
especially
law,
when it
and they
comes to
cover both
information that needs to be released, and people do not understand that. Oh, too often they think it's all the same shit. It is not.
Types of cases. Depending upon which district they are in, will depend upon the flow of cases or the mix of cases between civil and criminal. But as I've said on prior Legal AF podcasts, 98% of all federal criminal cases settle by plea. They don't go to trial. 2% of people are dumb enough to go up against the federal government when they're charged and try their luck with a jury or maybe a judge. That's it. 98% in that giant funnel of cases that start with investigation, indictment, charges, ends with plea.
Right.
And then a very small set, 2% that end up at trial. So she hasn't had a lot of...
So thank you. Thank you. That's another thing I always forget about. Is so many people don't realize that by the time you're getting to court in a lot of cases, especially federal court, you've actually said, nope, 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 nope. I'll try them.
Experiences, Judge.
And that's kind of, for those of you who haven't done it, I beg of you, I plead with you, please go read that damn indictment. It's 49 pages. It's legal pages. In legal world, 49 means you basically only have to read about 20 pages. In real reading. In real reading, it's 20 pages. Truly. It's the first chapter of a novel. And think of it that way. Because it really is the first fucking chapter of a novel. And here's the thing. There's going to be a prequel to that novel coming out of the same office. It's called the January 6th. And there's going to be an epilogue.
Local, state, or federal government.
That's probably also going to come out of that office.
Yes, that's what they're...
That's going to be the fraud case.
This whole...
And see, the funny part is, if they get that fraud case, which I think they will get.
Shut the fuck up. Just because you're terrified of rainbows at Target doesn't mean anyone's jamming...
A lot of what just
no one's going around
came up about the fact that they were literally desperate to get that money in may end up being why he ends up way broker than broke. You think I'm joking? You think I'm full of... No. If things go the way I think they go, it will finally prove out that Donald Trump was never a fucking billionaire.
United Methodist Church.
I don't even think he was a multi-millionaire. I think he was just a very lucky guy with cash and a business that his daddy built up, and he fucked up. Because it must be nice to take $400 million, supposedly make it into $8 billion. No, he didn't.
going to let him be part of the staff. We're not going to hire any of them.
Lose it all and bring it all back. No, he didn't.
Shitload of United Methodist churches out there.
See, the one thing you'll figure out eventually,
They're people just like us.
Forbes is bullshit.
Doesn't make it any more
Because
your fucking relationship.
most of the people that are that rich are hiding so fucking much of their money, we will never know how much they're worth.
Relationship more sexual than a
It's just a fucking fact that we've allowed country after country after country.
the idea of two people.
Now, that's not happening in Putinville, but Putinville is stealing it. He's not putting it back into his country. See, if Putinville actually put it back into his country like a smart man, Putinville could still take his money, and it would be millions. And I mean millions. What the fuck? Well, when you're trying to see something and all of a sudden you get so many tweets that go by that what you were trying to tap on just goes whoosh.
It's great on gas mileage, and it's kind of hot.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Back to the Fox News.
All right. Sorry.
You're not gonna,
I know you guys can't see it. And that's a good thing.
you're not going to stop it from existing in
Not bad at all. Anyway,
where you have the freedom and liberty. You have a fucking
just
Judge Cannon to have trials even in the 3 years that she's been sitting on the bench. In fact, here's the math. Out of the 224 cases that have been assigned to her that are criminal, the rest being civil, only four out of 224 became a trial. And even those were very simple, not a lot of moving parts, and not very complex. How do I know that? I can tell by the amount of trial days in total for all four of those cases. And that was
kids, I'm not of the opinion we're in trouble yet. Again, I still see a bunch of shit coming down. January 6th.
tax those motherfuckers.
Here. Can I have that? Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I still see January 6th coming. I still think on top of January 6th, we have a fraud indictment.
In Christianity. And again, I'm an atheist. If you want
We have a coming up.
and
We have
some churches in this country,
January 6th. We have Georgia,
and they know it's bigotry and
which,
turning away
if Georgia does what I think Georgia does,
from Christ. God,
Georgia splits off
that's what they choose to do. That's their
to a few others that might have to
want to have faith.
do a case or two of their own.
I don't give a damn.
But
there's churches in this country, and United Methodist is one of them. A certain portion of them realize there should be equity. There should be,
The fraud case.
and it is. What
This one here is what this I somehow you
oh boy, wasn't that shit all over him? Oh goddamn.
because once the seditious conspiracy, if they do go after that, which I would not be surprised if they went after, especially since they got 14 indictments. 14. And the funny part of all 14 of those, guess who they blame?
College twice. So I'm a two-time college dropout. I'm not
Guess who they fucking blame?
in the months, a couple
the
months
ability
after
to speak
February, and in the last month or so, things
normal
have
average
eased
day
up. We saw the
folks.
National
Most
Security
people,
Advisor meet with
most
his
people go to
counterpart in
college and
Vienna.
they don't
CIA
finish it.
Director was in.
It's going to be very interesting.
Terry hosted
Like I
Chinese
did when I was
officials
young.
here in
I mean,
Washington,
I
D.C.,
have
and now
I have a
there's
high school next year.
is that once
Yeah, that's right.
Blinken has that visit,
Mhm.
there will be other cabinet officials.
I'm older than maybe what you think I am, and I may be younger than what you think. I don't know. I don't know how old you think I am.
Perhaps a
But I'm a two-time college dropout, and I believe that is what gives me the ability to talk to an audience like you guys.
Will land in Connecticut
This
for the
is-
National Safer Community.
Hold on. Sorry, I'm going through and I'm just seeing all the stuff.
Massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary. Today also marks 1 year since the first major gun safety bill passed in Congress in
Right.
decades.
It may actually not be the last one. I think we may actually see a little bit more.
As the Denver Nuggets
It-
victory parade was
But like I said, the fraud case could actually end up being, because if they get seditious conspiracy, then from that will be a fraud case which could literally bankrupt the kids too.
negotiations on the bipartisan safer community.
And I think that's why Joe is like saying, let's figure this out. Let's see what this is about. Give me a second, folks. 1 second. And just see what this is. This is Eric.
Health investments under that law you helped pass. You spoke with the president this morning.
Yes.
What are your goals for today's summit?
That you don't have to have some sort
We're really
of
excited to have Biden here in Hartford with us. We're proud of the law we passed last year. 30 years we did nothing when it came to protecting our kids and our communities from gun violence. And last summer we passed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. It includes 5 major changes in American gun laws, but it also has $15 billion in it.
Sorry about that. But it's just the fraud case may become something that's just like, because that may end up, like I said, just bankrupting the entire of the family from beginning to end. Just oof.
I was studying history and I was studying political science. And I've been interested.
Because like he said, 2% go to trial. And out of that 2%, they have an 89% conviction rate.
Firearms, and that move would, of course, increase background checks. When do you expect to see the feedback?
That's 90% basically. So they lose maybe 10%. And like of that 10%, yeah, a couple of those were Jack's cases. But a lot of those cases were like Durham cases. Or much lesser known, smaller cases that literally went with a little, some of them really weird technical difficulties. But I believe we're about to head into a whole new world. It's not just Eileen Cannon, it's not just Georgia, it's going to be a lot of shit happening all at one time. And I still believe we are very close to January 6th being indicted too. Because January 6th is a seditious conspiracy indictment. That's huge. That is bigger than almost anything else you're going to get. I believe it's coming. And I believe if Jack Smith does what he usually does, the Roberts case, I think, was a hurt. Because I don't think he's done anything quite like that since. And I have this feeling there's not going to be anything like it till then.
But do you think we're at a stage now where the majority leader needs to put these bills on the floor so that you can get both Republican and Democratic senators on the record?
Because
So this law, of course, is just a year old, and a lot of our focus, those that have been movement, is on implementing that law and getting it right. Because getting that law right is the fastest way we can reduce gun violence rates. You mentioned.
How do I put this? I mean, when you lose a case like that, you never want to ever have that happen again. You never, ever, ever want that to pop up again. You never want to have anybody else get you, you know? And I think that is why, once you read through this indictment, here's the thing. Out of the 30-some-odd charges, and it is a speaking indictment, I still believe there's other stuff to come. I believe that there may be more recordings than you actually want to understand. And I don't think you'll understand the level at which the information. Okay. One of the things that I'm glad Eileen Cannon did really right away was make the attorneys get their security clearance right away. Here's why. Part of what you're going to need
because that now enjoys 65%.
is Discovery.
So let's focus on trying to get a bipartisan.
Once Donald Trump's attorneys, whoever they are,
That'll be important.
Okay, Senator Chris Murphy, we
have full
so much.
Everyone come to the show.
And calling it quits. Teachers in Texas feeling so much pressure, they're leaving the classroom.
discovery
Tell you why. Next here on
of everything
only on MSNBC.
that's going to be brought up in the case, look for either a really heavy amount of delay, or a sudden push for another way out. And that way out might be something similar to what Rachel was talking about earlier, where he actually says, I'm going to slink under this hole and go away. Is he smart enough to do it?
Eating balance of nature, fruits and veggies.
See
It is fruits and
I think everyone
vegetables in
stop
your
asking
diet.
questions.
I think a lot's going to depend
Have you eaten one
on whether
variety?
Yeah.
Most people
That was the
are
lead into
less
our show.
than 3.
Jim Trusty's out
Our body
on
is
everything.
an amazing
That's
chemical
because
laboratory, and
Trump
when you
doesn't
give it
want
the
it.
right
And
chemistry, it
wouldn't
functions
you
the
love
best.
to be
Balance
the fly
of
on my
nature. 31 fruits and vegetables
Trump
prepared in a
were
way
yelling
to
and
give you
screaming
the
at each other
ultimate
about this.
whole fruit
And
and
then Jim
vegetable
Trusty's like,
chemistry.
fuck you then.
Let
I'm
balance of
out.
nature
I'm not
help
going to
you
do this
supplement
anymore.
your fruit and vegetable
And I almost bet
intake
that part
for
of it
a
is
lot
that
less
it's not
money.
the discovery.
Well, I'm not paying.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or
What's in that? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
get 35%
Sorry, it's blowing my mind how much crap there might be. And between Georgia, January 6th, this speaking indictment on how much more can he take? Yeah, those 12% will be with him no matter what. That's the 12%. But that 12% could actually make somebody else the nominee with, again, less than 38% of the entire GOP.
Like 20 or 30 yards, I just sit down,
Fucking spread
get my
shit
breath.
around and
Every
get us
physical
big
exertion
numbers
seemed to
on
exhaust
social
me.
media. Because that's what
And finally, I went
It's scaring me that we're going the same way
post
when I first noticed symptoms,
as a 1923 through 1939 Germany.
what's happening.
like
Instead,
tomorrow.
I
If
tried
I just switched to be a right winger
let it
tomorrow, oh my
pass.
gosh, I would
If you
fucking be
experience
trending it.
irregular heart rate,
And we're doing it without being just off of a world war.
you should talk to your
Now it's a smaller population, thank God.
Or was, right? No one
I want my experience.
And that may be what saves us, is that in the 50 years since I've been here, there's a lot more of my type family. A lot more. You know, what's my type family? Well, that'd be that mixed ass family where it's not just one thing, it's a lot of different things.
I didn't always
Where my cousin,
Bill Maher had a pretty good foundation.
oh, definitely Mexican.
And
100%. Mm-hmm. Because of a marriage to, yes, you got it. And the kids are half, yes, you got it. See, that's the thing. That's the problem with your white supremacy in America. In the last 50 years, it got a lot more diluted. More than ever before. And that's the problem they're having. That dilution is hard to reverse because your goddamn whole way of thought is just bullshit. It's based on crap and bullshit and a nostalgia that's never been true.
considered himself later on in his
Like I said, nostalgia will kill you.
The school year is winding down.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you get up today and move your dirt?
The country, they're already
Did you turn your switch on and off?
for
Did you have a good day turning your switches on and off?
NBC's and
Because that's all we do.
Antonio, I have a lot of teachers in my family. This
We get up and we now turn switches on and off and we move dirt.
so difficult to keep teachers in the classroom.
And if you had a good day, you got paid a lot of good dirt to move your dirt and turn your switches on and off. That's all we can do is get paid good dirt to move dirt and turn switches on and off.
On the same day that high school English
I hope tomorrow
won an award for being an outstanding Texas
and Sunday you have just as good a day moving your dirt and turning your switches on and off. For those of you who don't get it, your computer is nothing more than a bunch of on-off switches. And every day that you're sitting here manipulating it, you're moving data, which either is moving dirt, data, but you're just turning switches on and off, and you're moving stuff. And even if you're in that backhoe,
last year, Ramsers
guess what you're doing is you're moving that dirt. Yes, you're turning switches on and off, and you're moving dirt. So as you get paid to move your dirt and turn your switches on and off today, be the best dirt mover and switcher that you can be. And understand that that person standing there telling you that they're a better dirt switcher, turner, offer up because they lack something that you have, well, they're full of shit. Because I'm telling you, we all move dirt and turn those switches on and off about the same as everybody else. Just a few of us have learned how to put those switches in the right order so that they make sense and are better at putting them in the right order. Doesn't mean you are better than everybody else, just means you figured out how to put the turn off and on switches in the right order. Means you can help other people learn how to turn those switches on and off in the right order. See, that's that crap you keep screaming about that's AI. It's not AI. It's machine learning. It's people learning how to program. See, as we learn how to turn these things on and off, we're learning how to put a lot of those on-offs together. And instead of making just 8 of them that go up and down that tell us a A or a B or a C, we now have 465 of them that we can go on and off. So we can put a lot more into one little bit. So if you think the information age is here, no. The AI bullshit that they scream about is just that. It's bullshit. Don't worry. You ain't seen nothing yet. We've got 30 to 40 years before we even get to the AI. All they're screaming about now is something to keep your attention because guess what? There is no new Facebook. There is no new Twitter. There is no new nothing yet. We don't know what it is. We didn't know what the iPhone was when it was. And we won't know the next thing. And again, it proves one thing. It never was like that, never will be like that, and never can be like that because what that was bullshit. But what we can make it is something great, is something new, is something that we all can be in, not just one or two controlling the rest, because that's not where we should be.